I'm Mike Jimenez, and this is the Acquired Taste, sponsored by Locked On Spurs. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. We're streaming live right now on Twitter and on Facebook. Starting tomorrow, fingers crossed, we'll be going live on YouTube. Joe Garcia, producing today's show. What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's up, man? So, yeah, tomorrow, hopefully now we're going to be on YouTube. We had a hiccup. For some reason, YouTube wants to have you in a holding pattern for a period of 24 hours. That's craziness, man. It's like you should just be able to say, I want to go live and I want to do the live stream, but they make you wait because of all the spammers.
That's true. And and earlier today, we were like, okay, we're good to go. We're good to go.
No.
And then it said 24 more hours. So hopefully by tomorrow. But we're also up and running on Spotify right now. So after this show ends, we will be on Spotify. So you can download that, listen to us on the way home, or, while doing yard work. That's what I do.
Or working out.
Exactly. You can listen to our show. But this is a great, great show we're trying to put together. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement. Understand that San Antonio Local Sports Talk Radio, Ticket 760, San Antonio Sports Star, from the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., do not have local programming. They go to network, national programming at that time. So Joe Garcia and I are on a mission to provide some local programming to touch on things like the Spurs. Obviously, when the NFL season comes around, we talk about the Cowboys and the Texans. But what about those UTSA Roadrunners?
Yeah.
What about San Antonio FC, the San Antonio Missions? A local show talking about local topics. And this has been fun. Yesterday, 1,800 views of our first episode.
Not bad.
1,800. Okay. My goal was 100 YouTube subscribers in 48 hours. We got 225. My goal was 1,000 viewers the first day. And I thought that's a little bit high. That's got to be a little bit high.
Yeah.
Stretch goal, 1,800. And now with Spotify coming into play, this is going to be so much fun. And you can be part of the show by reaching out to us on Twitter. I'm at I'm at MJ Acquired Taste, rather.
Yeah.
Changed the handle the other day, MJ Acquired Taste. And you can reach out to us also on Facebook. We'd be happy to read your comments. We're going to have a special guest at 12:30. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 will be on with us to talk about the NBA. We're going to have several other guests coming through over the next couple of weeks or so. I've been in talks with about 5 people right now who are going to be on the show in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be fun. So it's going to be me and you typically, Joe, every day, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1. But the goal, again, is to expand. Maybe the show goes in a month or two to 2 hours.
Yeah,
maybe we have 4 hours of programming with multiple hosts, something that people can listen to while at work on different platforms beyond just YouTube, but Facebook, but also Twitter and Spotify. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And the thing about it is this. Yesterday, so many people reached out to me after watching the first episode, and they said the exact same phrasing, which is, you are on to something. You are on to something. Several people called and said those exact same words.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited about that. But before we get going, we're going to talk a lot today about the NBA Finals. The refs almost making headlines, and we're all going to forget about it, but they almost made headlines from last night's game. We're going to have a shout out to a news anchor here in town that we're hoping for the best for. We'll be talking about Eddie Murphy movies. Think about that. Coming to America, we all have to agree, Coming to America is Eddie Murphy's greatest movie of all time. But what's number 2? And it was a great post that Jeff had a couple of days ago on Twitter. I want to kind of discuss that as well. John Morant, NBA Finals means one thing. We're going to find out what John Morant's punishment is. So we have a lot to get into. But before we get into all of that, I don't know if I would say that my Twitter followers were concerned for my safety or my health yesterday. As you can tell by my voice, I'm about 2 octaves lower, but it's better than what it was yesterday. Yesterday, I was at about 25% voice. You guys helped carry me. I didn't want to call in on the very first episode.
Yeah.
Today, I'm about 75 to 80%. I'll probably be at 100% tomorrow. But part of the reason is that I got a shot yesterday.
Where?
And, 6 o'clock yesterday evening, my wife sees me dying, right? And she says, why don't you go to the hospital for once? Go to the doctor for once. So my wife works at University Hospital. They have urgent care facilities around. There's one on Highway 90 near 211.
And they got the one up at Petrenko over here by
They do.
1604 in Petrenko.
They do.
Yeah.
So I went over there and saw the first doctor who saw me, and it was really, really quick in and out. And she looks at me and says, you need to get a steroid shot. And I was like, okay. And she goes, it's going to be a while because we're a little bit backed up. But just to let you know, it's going to be on your butt.
Did you wear clean chones? That's the real question.
Well, I mean, my mom says to always wear clean chones in case there's a bad accident, right? So anyway, I'm over there waiting for 40 minutes to get a shot. And I get on Twitter and I'm out there posting, I've been told by a doctor that I need to have an ass shot.
Oh, man.
I haven't had an ass shot since I was probably 12 years old.
Jeez.
And I post that. And then I message my wife that, and she's laughing. She goes, those hurt.
They do, man.
And it was so funny. And then I'm seeing all these comments just come pouring in on Twitter. People using Photoshop to make fun of me because of that photo I have with Paige Sporonic.
Oh,
they usually they pretend like I have a sweatshirt saying something, you know.
Hey, man, but shout out to Bear County Social Apparel because he loves to go ahead and make fun of you and make these really nice pictures. So
they're great.
Great pictures,
They're
man.
great. I'm here for the ass shots, I think is what it said. So, and if it was Paige Sporonic, I might be okay with that for any reason. But it was funny because I sat there for 40 minutes. Finally, they come in to give me the shot, and they said, and I'm like grabbing my waistband, like, okay, do I lift one leg up? Do I lean forward? Do I use the stirrups? What are we doing here? And he's like, no, we're gonna just give it to you in your arm. So this reminds me of those people who run the roller coaster rides who pretend that your seatbelt's not on and then they let it go and they get their rocks off because of that.
The videos of the slingshot.
Yeah. Things that like oh, and then it takes off, right?
Yeah.
So there I am. I'm like ready to drop trowel, man. I'm ready to, drop my pants and they're like, no, we'll give it to you in the arm. And then I had to sit there for observation, but I feel better. Apparently, it's not necessarily allergies. Apparently, I have an ear infection that's pretty bad.
Wow.
And that's causing a lot of what's going on, along with just bad allergies to begin with. But I'm about 80% strength right now. And I'll be 100% by tomorrow, I promise you.
I could have just told the doctor, no steroid shot is needed. We can just give him an injection straight of some Buffalo Trace bourbon, dude.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know if I was going to regret that.
Yeah.
Okay, because brand new show, and the first thing you see is me taking Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe that does set the tone as to what this show is and what this show is all about. This show is about having fun.
Exactly.
Talking sports, talking pop culture, and just all sorts of things that get us excited. And I've had so much fun the past couple of days introducing this concept to people and all the compliments that we're getting.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion just 10 minutes before this show started.
Yeah, we did.
Are we going to call ourselves a podcast? Because I think it's part podcast. I think it's part TV show. I think it's part everything.
Yeah.
And this is not a traditional podcast because what we're trying to create is a network.
Exactly.
A network. And we're going to go on the road from time to time because people reaching out to me today saying, we better see you at those rowdy tailgates downtown at the Alamo Dome.
But what version of you are we going to see if you go to the tailgate?
Okay. We're going to get into that with Jeff Garcia because I am part Bobcat, Texas State. I am part Roadrunner, UTSA.
Wow.
So I have a question for those of you who are watching on Twitter or on Facebook. Do I have to state an allegiance at this point? I've been removed from college 20 years. Do I have to state an allegiance? Because this entire time I've been saying that I'm both. And I posted a photo the other day on Twitter wearing a Texas State shirt. And then the very next day, I'll post one wearing a UTSA shirt because I spent 4 semesters at Texas State, spent 3 semesters at UTSA. I kind of have a dual allegiance. And do I need to get off that? Is that insulting to Roadrunner fan? Is that insulting to Bobcat fan? Do I have to pick between Jeff Traylor and the new head coach over at Texas State, Greg Kinney? Do I need to have that line in the sand that this is who I am? Reach out to us.
Why not just get a shirt or a jersey made and it has half UTSA and half of the Bobcats?
Because then I will get beaten up by both sides. But I love the memes, man. I love the memes of UTSA fan going after Texas State fan, Texas State fan going after UTSA fan.
Hey, but wear that jersey that has half and half, and then show up to both tailgates.
Ooh, okay.
Now we got something.
I think we got something going here.
Yeah.
I think we got something going. Man, we're gonna have a great show today. Let's talk about the NBA Finals because I'm excited about the finals being over because I called it. I called it. Follow me on Twitter.
Gentlemen,
at MJ Acquired Taste. I called it Nuggets in 5. And I've had some people reach out to me on Twitter saying, dude, everybody picked them in 5 or 6. And I'm like, no. I doubled down after game 2 when Miami went and stole home court. And I said, this is the reason. This proved to me that it's going to be a 5-game series because Miami has to play perfect. And yesterday, neither team played perfect.
No.
Both teams sucked the first half.
Denver struggled shooting, man.
Yeah, they were like 1 for 15 to start off from 3. And it didn't get much better after that. But my goodness, it was a very intense end of the game. And we're going to get into that referee call in a moment. But before we get into that, though, Nikola Jokic winning the finals MVP. His daughter was there. And it was so exciting to watch Nikola Jokic go out there and become a great. He is now a great. Okay, he's gone from all-star to, a top-tier player to now he is a great player.
Arguably the best big man in the NBA now.
He is.
He
is. There was all those stories last week about, the fantasy scenario if the Spurs were to ever get rid of the number 1 overall draft pick. What if it was for Embiid? Or what if it was for whomever?
Yeah.
The only player that would make me go, let me think about that. I wouldn't think about it that long, but still it would make me pause a bit, would be Nikola Jokic. The guy is a little bit of everything. He always looks like he's in the middle of a Rocky movie. Like he's getting beaten up. Why is his nose always red? Like he's in the middle of an MMA fight. I don't understand it, but he is so great at what he does. He's so herky-jerky. The way that he handles the ball, Jamal Murray, all those TikToks that I've been watching recently of people trying to mimic those two guys on the court, it's so funny because it's so accurate. He does not seem very athletic.
No.
He was a second-round draft pick for crying out loud. But he goes out there, he hustles every single play, and even when you hold him down, he's still going to get around 30 points.
You can't stop the pass. That's what makes him so deadly, is that he commands so much attention inside the paint, but he just has a knack for being able to read the floor and pass the ball to the right player. The person who's in great position to score. He finds his teammates. It's just something that you can't teach. It comes to him natural. And I think that's another an asset that he has that makes him so deadly is how do you guard the pass?
Well, they have 2 point guards on that team. It's Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic, damn right.
Because that's what he does. He's out there, orchestrating the offense. But it's so great what he's doing out there. But the Nuggets go on to win 94-89. Nikola Jokic named the MVP. Got a question for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
There were 3 big celebratory moments after yesterday's game. Mike Malone, head coach of the Nuggets, being carried by Jokic's brothers.
Oh, man, that was a great moment.
Then later on, Jokic dunking Jamal Murray in a swimming pool on the facility. And then during the press conference, coming out and saying that he doesn't want to be at the parade because he wants to go home.
No, what did he say? When is it? They told him it's on Thursday. It was like, yeah, we did a job. It's time to go home. It's time to go. He wasn't like, yeah, we just won the NBA finals. We are the champs.
That's where Pop and RC Buford got everything right when it came to Tim, Tony, and Manu. And I hate to say this because American-born players, I'm just not about them anymore. I mean, as the star, as the 1, 2, or 3 best player on your team, just doesn't work very well. American-born players, it used to be because, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs was on yesterday. He'll be on later on today. Was talking about the fact that let's see what Victor Wembanyama does in the NBA. As much as I love Jeff, I still think that's the prevalent belief
Yeah.
among a lot of basketball fans is that, well, it's just subpar basketball being played. No. The bad basketball is being played in the NBA, not FIBA, not those European leagues. They're playing good basketball. It's the NBA that's trash. The NBA masks the fact that it's trash by the fact that they have the best athletes on the planet. So just because you have the best athletes doesn't mean that you have the best game. There's a reason why when they go to FIBA, I know it's a smaller court over there, and I know that the ball's a little bit different, but come on, man. There's a reason why they go over there and they start to struggle. and you know, I think we all have this belief of the 1992 Dream Team team that would go out there, Barcelona, taking on Angola, and the whole world going, oh my God, take a look at these NBA players and being excited about it. Here, autograph this ball before you kick our ass by 80.
Yeah.
That's what you expect, right? Now when these foreign players see NBA players, guess what they're looking at and seeing? They're seeing that the best players in the NBA right now are not American. When LeBron James retires, who's going to be the best player from the U.S. still around? An aging Kevin Durant? Who is it going to be? Because there's that whole debate right now as to whether the NBA All-Star game should go from, it was East and West, and then it became like superstar versus superstar, pickup ball. If it went USA against world, I would bet so much money that the world would kick the US's ass in basketball. Because look at this lineup. Who would you have? You'd have Jamal Murray,
Okay.
Luka Doncic. You'd have Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, and Wemby. Give me 6 American players after LeBron James retires that's going to keep up with that. An aging Steph Curry? Where's the next American superstar?
Well, it could have been Ja Morant, but he's in some trouble. I'll just play.
We are going to be talking about that, but where are there used to be that saying, the great white hope.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's the great American hope when it comes to things? Because right now the world not only caught up, but a lot of these players have exceeded and surpassed what is going on with American basketball. AAU and all that stuff ruined American basketball. And I officiate AAU basketball games, but it ruins it because it ruined the spirit of competition, because what it taught was ganging up on other teams by getting the superstar from that team and the superstar from that team and the superstar from that team.
Yeah.
That's how American basketball players work and how they win. That's not how Jokic won.
No.
They were built by the draft. They were modeled after the Spurs, for crying out loud. That's not how Giannis won, right?
Yeah.
So it's so different, the mentality and the fact that the Spurs have Victor Wembanyama coming in from France. You have Jeremy Sohan, who's also from Europe as well. Those are good things to have. And that's why when I was saying Patty Mills rejoining the team, if that was to happen, I would love it because it's another non-American player. Am I being anti-American?
You know what I
Maybe.
miss the most about Patty being gone? The coffee gang. We don't have the coffee gang anymore.
Yeah.
And then you hear that iconic phrase every time he hits a three. Good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
You know, we don't hear that anymore. I love me some Patty Mills. I would love for him to come back and play for the Spurs. But I get what you're saying about international players and how, let's say, well-received they are as teammates. Here's a story that I heard about Steven Adams when he was playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He is such a great teammate that he knows in the playoff, OKC didn't have any more timeouts. And I think this story came away of Kevin Durant. I think I saw it on social media maybe a week ago. And he was saying he saw Steven Adams there just scrubbing his face vigorously. And he's like, what are you trying to do? He's like, we don't have no more timeouts. I'm trying to make myself bleed.
Love it. Love it. Bring that energy to the Spurs or any team that I love. It's so great. But last night I was freaking out with 3 minutes to go in the game. About 3:20 to go in the game. Nuggets were up 5. It looked like they were going to seal the deal. They just needed a couple more buckets, right?
Yeah.
And that 3-point shot attempt by Jimmy freaking Butler. Okay. This is what's wrong with officiating, not only in the NBA, but in all sports. In all sports. So, Jimmy Butler goes for a shot.
Yeah.
Misses the 3. Aaron Gordon, I believe, was the one who got called for the foul. And Aaron Gordon simply walked up with his hands up in the air and made zero contact with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler knocks down 3 free throws in a row, gets the game within 1 or 2 points. They end up taking the lead 30 seconds later. And I'm like, oh my God, Miami's winning right now. And all we're going to hear about is how the officials gave them the game.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the Nuggets pulled it out. But we got to talk about this play because that was not a foul. In fact, if you wanted to make it a no call, which is probably what it should have been, that's fine. But when you're watching that game, the interesting thing about it is that everybody in the arena, everybody who's a basketball player who's not a Jimmy Butler fan, who doesn't have a vested interest in this game, is all looking at it going, there was no foul.
Yeah, there was.
The announcers, half of them who are former NBA players themselves, are saying, that's not a foul. And you hear the announcers saying, well, obviously this is going to be overturned, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to have to find out exactly how much time is left on the clock. Did somebody grab the rebound? Is this going to be a jump ball? And then all of a sudden the official gets on the microphone and says, call on the field stands. The hell are you talking about?
And he saw a replay of it in slow motion.
Dude, I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, right? I still have nightmares about that pass interference call that was never made, right?
Don't talk to me about that. I'm a Cowboys fan. Des, that was a catch.
No, it wasn't. We'll go.
It was a catch.
It was not a catch. I understand where you're going with that. It was a catch in common sense. It was not a catch by letter of the law. So the question becomes is that what should the NBA do, the NFL do to offset this or to mitigate this a little bit? Because my goodness, had the Heat won the game, do you know how embarrassed the NBA would be? You'd be hearing about, well, this is part of the script, right? The part of the script was we got to make it go 6. We got to make it go 7. It's part of the script. And there needs to be a common sense person within the NBA. I know the NFL, like if you watch NFL football, Pereira does it for Fox, right? But he has no bearing as to the decision being made. I'm sorry. You need to take that away from the officials on the court. It needs to go to New York.
No.
It needs to have somebody over there making that call.
I got you. So what you're saying is you want to take it out of the hands of a human being to make those calls. So hear me out. With the advent of one Chat GPT, let's let AI make those calls because it's going to be unbiased, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why I say that American basketball, NBA basketball sucks compared to FIBA and all those European leagues is because they would never have called that a foul. In fact, it would have been either a no call or it would have been an offensive foul on Jimmy Butler for the kick out.
Because he came back down, and on the way down, that's when he made contact with Aaron Gordon.
Right.
And that's really not a foul. You're giving the guy space to land, but he's kicking you. What do you do at that point?
It's not a natural shooting motion. That's the thing that's a James Harden move. That's a Steph Curry move. That's a Klay Thompson move, where they have mastered the art of shooting a jumper where they land on the ground every single time. It used to be Jimmy Chitwood, Hoosier style, go up in the air, certain form, you come straight back down. But these players are sticking their leg out because the officials will call it every single time.
Yeah.
And there needs to be common sense. And unfortunately, those officials are in a room with 20,000 people who are either cheering for them or cheering against them. And it is just so bizarre that they have to go and look at a camera angle with a heart rate of 160 at the time?
Yeah.
Just a pulse rate because they've been running up and down the court all day long. And then go, based on this monitor that's smaller than my laptop, here's what I think happened. No.
Yeah.
There needs to be NBA officials from up high. When I say up high, I'm talking league offices making those rules because it happens like that in the NFL. We see that in the NFL. Is it a touchdown or not? Well, do they have the officials look at it? No. Oftentimes it's done by New York. So it's so bizarre, but refereeing has gone to complete crap these days. Major League Baseball. It's getting better in Major League Baseball. I love the clock.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's just so stupid.
It's
what
getting
happened last
worse
night.
too in college football. It's bad in college football at times.
Yeah.
You know, where they basically miss calls that change the complexion of the game and change the trajectory or the momentum of the game. You know, and the same thing's happening in the NBA. Something has to change. What that would be, it's beyond me. I say,
Yeah.
just give it to Chat GPT and AI and see what they could do.
Let's see what they can do.
They could probably do a better job than the officials.
Well, the Acquired Taste is sponsored by Locked On Spurs, which is a great podcast featuring Jeff Garcia from Ken's 5 and the Locked On Spurs Network. Jeff Garcia joins us right now. Jeff, last night's game, that foul that was called on Aaron Gordon with 3 minutes to go, called by Jimmy Butler, was that a foul?
I would have said no call, play on. Play on.
Just play on, right? Just play on.
Just
Dude,
play on.
it was so ridiculous.
Don't let the refs interfere. Let the two teams battle it out.
It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's talk a little bit about what's up next for the NBA, because people are thinking, well, up next for the NBA, I mean, we got to be talking about the NBA draft, which is coming up next week. But no, what's next for the NBA is the Ja Morant suspension.
Yep.
Okay. So the NBA decided that they were going to not make a determination until after the NBA finals so that it wouldn't steal the spotlight from the Heat or the Nuggets. That being said, this is somebody who twice was caught on social media, Instagram Live, playing with a gun. The first time was at a strip club outside of Denver. The second time was his friend's IG account where they're driving around and he has the gun in his hand being reckless with it.
Right.
So that being said, give me a suspension. It was 8 games last time.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be this time?
I'm going to push 30, 35, around there. I think that you're Silver. You got to put a message out there. The first one, I'd be honest with you, I felt it was a slap on the wrist. That 8 games, but time served, so equal 2 games.
Right.
It didn't sit well with me. So, he, as of right now, supposedly is going to be the face of the NBA. So I think that may have been shot, no pun intended, with his, antics with that gun and videos. But if they want to rehab him in his image, you got to send him a heavy, heavy, heavy message. I'm not going to be – I'll be surprised if it's less than 25. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, less than 25 would be a surprise for me also. I'm thinking it's going to be 40 games. I think it's going to be half the NBA season. Yeah. This is a guy that has cost himself so much money because he no longer qualifies for the Supermax, or at least the highest level of the Supermax.
Right.
This is a team that has tried to reach out to him. And, I know that even rapper Lil Wayne was saying, hey, look, I want to reach out to him, but he has not returned my call, saying that I spent time, at Rikers, I think is what he said, and that he wants him to learn from him. I just feel bad right now because what you're seeing right now is somebody whose career is circling down the drain.
It is.
And we as Americans love a comeback story. We love to see the comeback, the redemption. And I hope that Ja Morant has a redemption side of the story. But if there is no redemption, he has no excuse. This is on him.
Yeah, I think he will redeem himself. I'm having faith in him that he will learn his lesson for the second time and move on accordingly with a clean slate. But I'm going with the 3 strikes you're out kind of thing. He has 2 strikes. He's on deck. Are they going to throw him? He's going to hit a home run or is he going to strike out? We'll find out in a few days. But yeah, it's interesting to see, a face of the league, Morant, and what could possibly be the next face of the league, and Wemby. I hope you got the text I sent you before I came on. I hope you got it. Because remember, this is what I was telling you about before we picked out a time for me to hop on here. You'll like it because it's everything you want. It's Wemby and Vegas odds.
Okay, so you posted on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. It says Vegas odd makers project Wembanyama will not average monster numbers in NBA rookie season.
Yeah.
Am I intrigued? I am very intrigued by this.
Yep.
But before I read this, I've gone on record before when I said what I thought his points and rebounds per game were going to be.
Okay, tell me.
I said 19 points.
Okay.
9.5 to 10 rebounds.
Okay.
I said 2.25 blocks.
Okay.
And 4 assists.
You're all over the map. Why don't you check out what they project?
Okay,
you hit some, but you missed some, and I think you're gonna have an issue with a few of the numbers that Vegas put out there.
Okay, so I'm taking a look right now on your
second paragraph. Yeah.
This is over on Ken's 5, right? According to Bet Online, Wembanyama will not average a double-double and project his per-game averages to be 2.5 blocks, which is in line with what I'm saying.
You got it, yep.
8.5 rebounds. I'm saying 9.5 to 10.
Yeah.
And 17.5 points, and I have it at around 19.5.
I think they're a little low.
I'm slightly above. Slightly above. So am I insulted by this? No. I don't think that this is insulting, but I think it's a low ball in a way.
It's a very low bar, right?
And it's one of those things where, you know, if I had some extra scratch, I might take that bet and take some overs on that.
Well, here's the thing. Vegas is not buying into the hype. If they're all about he's the next this and that, and he's going to dominate, look what he can do away from the basket, towards the basket, under the basket, you would think that the numbers would be a little inflated, but they're not. So Vegas is usually spot on when it comes to their projections for the most part, not all the time. But I would bet the over on this. I don't think, especially in the rebound category, I don't think they're going to be that low. I think he's a little higher. I think he's going to average at a double-double, but a very soft double-double, maybe like 19 and 11.
Yeah, and that would be a good start. I mean, this is somebody who is 19 years old, who has never played an 82-game season.
Sure.
We've seen this in the past with Keldon Johnson. We've seen this in the past with Devin Vassell, where the first time that they're actually getting a lot of minutes in an 82-game season, they tend to struggle a little bit. They get a little bit cold down the stretch. And the thing about those two is that neither one of them is 7'5". So it's going to be a little bit different. But at the same time, the other phenoms that came out, the other, you know, players that came in with such high hopes, the LeBrons of the world, the Tim Duncans of the world, they went out there and they were doing more than just 19 points.
Exactly. And here's the thing too,
which is the over-under now.
Spurs fans, right away when I posted that on my Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone, from the initial reaction were blaming it on Pop already. They're saying that Pop is going to be the one to hit those numbers and prevent maybe Wemby from averaging more numbers, load management, minimizing these minutes, you know, the rotations. But it's interesting to see how they're going to treat that. The Spurs, I think Brian Wright pretty much said that they're going to take their time with him. They're not going to rush him.
So if he doesn't get it, I would agree that it is a Pop thing if he doesn't get it, because it could be one of those things where they might say, okay, we won't do the load management in the sense that we're going to sit you out 25 games, but we might only play you 20 to 25 minutes per. So LeBron James, by the way, rookie season, 21 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.6 steals, his rookie campaign.
Wow.
He came in also same age as Wemby, though. So I didn't want to give the whole parallel to Tim Duncan, because Duncan had those 4 years over at Wake Forest. But at the same time, Wemby's been playing professional ball for a handful of years. So it's not like he's coming out of high school. He's been playing pro ball. So it's a little bit different, but I'm looking forward to it.
His numbers have dropped a bit in the French League playoffs. So I think his numbers have dropped about 2-3 points per game. His 3-point shooting through the playoffs is about 27% right now. So, but it's expected. He's still going to go number one no matter what. So
no doubt number one. No doubt number one.
But I just find it intriguing with these Vegas odds, though, because I really thought it would be a soft double-double what they're projecting. It's not kind of close at all.
17 points a little low. That's a little low.
It is. I think that's way low, So you're betting the over, right? You're going to bet the
over on both. Over on both.
Okay.
And I just simply think because it's going to be an easier game for him to adapt to. I think it's going to be a better spreading of the floor.
Right.
And people talk about the fact that, he's going to be playing against better competition.
Sure.
Well, the people getting him the ball are better than the ones that were getting him the ball in France.
Right.
So there's that aspect of it as well. Plus, he's going to get away with so much more offensively when it comes to what he could, because defensively you can't hand check like you can in Europe.
Yeah, you can't do
Defensively, you can't pummel people around unless it's the NBA Finals. So he's going to have an easier go at it when he's in the NBA. Yes, he has a target on him, but at the same time, he's highly touted for a reason. So 17 points, I'm going to call BS on that. That's going to be over.
I got him averaging a little bit more than what they're projected his rebounds to be. I think 2.5 blocks is about right.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's about right, yeah. But the rebounds, I would bump it up a bit more. Maybe give him 2 more.
I can buy it. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 joined us now. Let's switch gears to a different sport because college football just around the corner. And I'm excited because UTSA and Texas State are going to get going on September 9th at the Alamo Dome. A few days ago, it was announced that the kickoff will be at 2:30, and this will be a game on ESPN+. This is the second game for both teams. UTSA will play Houston in week 1 on the road. Texas State is on the road against Baylor. So 2 of them with tough matchups going into this. UTSA ranked number 23 in the preseason rankings, according to ESPN. Then again, recent weeks, we lost Zachary Franklin, stud wide receiver who went into the transfer portal.
Right.
That being said, the Roadrunners are also in the AAC for the first time ever. So there's a lot of exciting things to do with this game. Quick question for you. Will you go tailgating with me this year?
I most definitely will. I definitely will. We were supposed to tailgate for the Alamo Dome Spurs game. I believe we were. But
but no one did they?
But nobody really did. Yeah, I think I saw a pocket here and there. But no, I'll definitely go tailgate. I've heard tremendous things about the UTSA tailgating fest, if you will. That they're really, really good, that they're fun, they're enjoyable, and if they don't go into the game.
Jeff's going to need an Uber. Let's put it like that.
Jeff's going to need an Uber. Yeah.
That's all my life is. I just Uber everywhere. It makes me feel like I have a chauffeur. That's what it makes me feel like.
Jeff Garcia moving back to San Antonio pretty soon in the next handful of weeks. Excited about that. So you will be able to go with us to this game. Now, here's the thing, though. And I am a UTSA Roadrunner.
Yeah.
I graduated from UTSA. So the degree on my wall at home says University of Texas at San Antonio.
Right.
Political Science, Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah.
But I also went to Texas State. So I went 4 semesters at Texas State, 3 semesters to UTSA.
Okay.
I got the degree from UTSA. My thing about it is that I kind of have a dual allegiance for so many years, and I cheer for both teams. When UTSA wins, I get excited. When UTSA loses, I get upset. When Texas State wins, I get excited. When Texas State loses, I get upset. So that being said, am I going to be pressured into having a true 100% allegiance starting this season?
No.
It's more exciting to cheer for UTSA football because it's the difference between the AAC versus what I believe is the Sun Belt. It's 2 different types of football. UTSA should roll over Texas State. But am I going to be cheering, when they're up by 40 points, or am I going to do the golf clap? How should I handle this?
You should do what Steph Curry parents do when they have to cheer for Steph and who's their other son?
Steph and Seth.
Seth, yeah, thank you. And they wear the split jersey.
Yeah,
they were like a Blazers and the Warriors, or Mavs and a Warriors. So I think you should do that. Find a way to stitch those 2 jerseys together and represent.
I don't know how that's going to work over there. Like, I feel like Bobcat fan. I won't say, Roadrunner fan might kill me. Yeah. Bobcat fan will be too drunk to care. Okay.
But isn't I know San Antonio is a UTSA home, but I mean, there's a big population of Bobcats, right?
Oh, big population of Texas State over here.
Yeah. So
big,
I think
and especially those in the media. I mean, local media over here, we're talking about a ton of people who are from Texas State. But I want to go tailgate over there. We're also talking, Joe and I are talking about having a live stream, a special edition of MJ Acquired Taste being done at the tailgate. Now, when I was on the radio, you could not curse. And probably the best thing that happened in the 3 years that I was on the radio was I never once cursed on air. And the
Mhm.
thing about it is, and you know this, Jeff, I curse a lot sometimes.
Yes, you do.
So at the tailgate, it might go PG-13.
Wow. I don't know if San Antonio's ready for that side of Jimenez to come out.
I just want to be at the tailgates. I love the tailgates. I get
You just
fried,
want to
man.
get the booze in you. You
Yeah,
just want to
dude.
eat and get the booze and have a party. That's
Food.
Jimenez right there.
Who needs food? You know,
Oh, you just want to go straight to getting smoked, huh?
It's
You just want to
it's
get
all
drunk.
beer. It's all beer. It's all taking bottles of bourbon out there.
If you're at the Birds Landings tailgate, you're not there for the food. You're there for the booze.
I've heard about the Birds tailgate thingamajig.
You're not ready, Jeff. You ain't
Yeah.
ready, man.
Oh, I'm ready.
You're not ready.
Trust me. I'll be ready. There's
He's
no
been
doubt
at all
about
these
that.
bougie New York parties.
I will
Bar
be ready.
1919. You're not
Oh,
ready,
well,
man.
And that's my
Wait a
spot in
minute.
San Antonio. Everybody knows. If you want to catch
Wait a
me
minute.
out about by myself having a drink, it's always going to be at 1919.
Wait a minute, Jeff Garcia. I'm not going to have any 1919 slander, Joe.
I'm not
because-
saying it's a nice bar.
Well, I know, but the thing is, okay, because Jeff is from San Antonio, but he spent so much time in New York, moving back to San Antonio. The fact of the matter is that the New York vibe, the New York lifestyle is different than
Yeah,
San
it is.
Antonio. So San Antonio, I'm like wanting to dress down. I want to go out in a t-shirt and jeans, just be kind of
Mhm.
casual, right? Jeff makes me get dressed up. He makes me go to the dry cleaners before going out because he's always wearing a sports coat.
Like
He's
right now,
always,
see?
he's always wearing these shoes that I swear had just gotten, polished and buffed 5 minutes before.
He's wearing the ostrich shoes,
Listen.
alligator leather.
He's always dressed to the nines, and I'm there going, dude, don't make me get dressed up. So I will say this.
Hey, I didn't go dressed as the night to the Alamo Dome game. I was in jeans. Oh no, I did. Never mind. Sorry.
Does he iron his
You
jeans?
did.
Does he
You did.
iron the jeans? You get the jeans
my
pressed.
God. The jeans, they're not Levi's, baby. They're not Levi's. He is
Wait a
They're
minute. here.
Jordache. They're
Hold on
Jordache.
he is wearing the
Zeke
equivalent.
Cavaricci's from the 80s. That's what
That's
I
what
Oh,
You're wearing whatever 2023 version. You're wearing whatever 2023 version of Gerbo's are.
Yeah.
Z Cavaricci's right
I
now.
had the leather belt with the loop knot thing hanging.
yeah, you have to
off
put
Yeah,
the
my,
loop on
waist.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so whenever you get mad and you start talking crap about me on Twitter saying that I big timed you because I didn't go out, it's not because I didn't want to hang out. It's not because my wife was saying that I couldn't go. It's because I
Yeah.
didn't want to get dressed up.
Listen,
That is the thing.
we've gone out before, right? Dressed down. I think I went to your neck of the woods one time, way out there in the boonies, and there was like a
Yeah,
little
you went to the
kind of a
Rusty
neighborhood.
Nail.
Yeah, we're in a
Rusty
Rusty Nail.
Nail.
The Rusty
Wow.
Nail. And which is
Yeah.
still a nice bar. That's
Oh
not
God,
slumming
that's
it.
right. It was.
It was a nice bar. You're like,
That's right. It
the
was.
bourbon selection was really good here.
I forgot
So-
about that. Yeah.
You know what? I'll take Jeff next time you're in town, Jeff. We got to take you to the nightlife out here in Marbach, man. I don't know if you're ready for that.
Ooh,
I grew up in San Antonio.
But
I'm a South
you know what?
Sider.
It's
That's where I
like
grew
that
up.
Bane
I came
scene.
from the South Side.
This is a different life, brother. This is a different life out here. You know, it's like that Bane saying, what did he say?
Raised in San Antonio.
You merely adopted the darkness. I was born into it.
No, I barely got the New York ways. That's my problem. I've been up here too freaking long. That's going
He ain't
on
ready,
here.
dude.
He ain't ready.
He ain't
dude.
ready, man.
He ain't ready. Dude, I love me some Jeff Garcia, and I love the fact that Locked On Spurs is a sponsor of this show. But it's so funny that we're roasting you because I swear, Jeff,
sir.
when you take a drink, a shot,
Yeah.
you pinky out, dude. You pinky out. You pinky
I
out. just a
pinky
little-
out.
The pinky's up. The pinky's up.
Pinky out. Are you out of your mind? I do not.
Yeah.
Oh God,
No,
I don't want to be so conscious about that now. Do I pinky out now?
Yeah. No, you get fancy. You fancy like, dude. That's just basically
I'm not
it.
fancy. Like I said, I've been up here for way too long, and it was like I would flip it if Joe were to come up here. I would say, "You ain't ready for this." Joe might get in a fight when waiters.
I might. You know what? I might get in a fight. I get in fights out here in Marbach. If you haven't gotten in a fight or an argument over here at the Taco Cabana, walking around, driving around here in the streets of Marbach, you ain't lived, bro.
No,
I
I
get
gotta
in
tell you,
arguments at Taco Cabana.
Bro, I'm telling you, if you've lived in Marbach
Yeah.
and you've grown up in the hood, it's happened on more than one occasion.
I don't know if I told you guys this story, but about a year ago, I was at a San Antonio Missions game. At the time, I was hosting halftime at a local radio station here. And this guy comes up and says he enjoys the show. I was like, okay, great. I loved it. I loved it when people would say hi. And he invited me drinking that night. He goes, after the game, do you want to go get a drink? I got some friends meeting up. Do you want to go? And there were a handful of people that were going. So a couple of them I knew, and then others that I didn't. He goes, come with me to the bar. And I was like, okay, well, where is it? He warned me. He goes, it's not a nice bar. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that. I went to Holmes. Okay. We drive all the way out. It wasn't that far. I mean, it was from 90, which is where the Wolf is at. We made our way to essentially it was West Avenue and 410, right? But then we hook a right. So we're going into Edison territory. And there was a bar that was over there. And I told him, describe what the bar is like. And he says, have you seen the movie Roadhouse?
Oh,
I was like, okay. Dude, I walked in there and I had a blast because the best places that you can go are the dive bars, man.
Yeah,
the dive
hole in
bars,
the wall.
Hole in the wall. Dude, I love Roxy's here in town. The one by Ingram Park Mall.
One of my favorite spots on the South Side is Brewster's. You ever been in there?
Yes.
That was fun there.
And that's just it, man. You know, it's funny because, you know, so many people are so excited about going to like the Pearl and going to places like that. And I'm there going, that does nothing for me.
Yeah.
The Pearl, and I love my wife so much by the fact that she does not get impressed by the Pearl. She does not want to spend so much money out there. We like going to dive bars. We like going to karaoke bars. And don't get me wrong, 1919 is really nice, and that's one of my favorite bars. But when you and I went old school, we went to Esquire, Jeff. That was a blast.
Yeah, we had fun.
Esquire's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we had fun there. We got ourselves a prime spot on that bar, right in front of the bartender. Could not miss us when our drinks were empty.
Yeah.
We went down to the the underground, right?
The underground that very few people know about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go down there, had fun. Jimenez and I line them up. We're doing great. Everything. Night's over, and then Jimenez looks at me and says, I'm hungry. So we go across the street, and then there's like, was it a taco?
It was a taco truck.
It was a taco truck thing, yeah.
Right on the Riverwalk. Right on the Riverwalk.
It was romantic. Right on the Riverwalk.
Very romantic.
No,
it was great. It was good food.
Yeah.
It was good food.
It was great. Oh, I don't think you left anything for me. You attacked it. You attacked it. Dude. I think I had like 2 tacos, and Jimenez had himself a feast.
You know what Jeff's used to? He's used to eating that $1 slice of pizza that he gets over in New York.
I know.
Man.
$1
slice of pie.
Minimal cheese, minimal bread.
Well, we're gonna hear from Jeff on the way over here. When 3 months after moving back to San Antonio, he's gonna be like, he's gonna be like, I can't find a good slice of pizza around here. We're gonna hear that. And like that New Yorker talk is gonna come out, and he's gonna be like, you know what? There's no place that serves a good sandwich around here. And
but the good news is that I learned how to make them. See, now I know how to make them. I know how to make them the right way. I'll make one for Jimenez and Joe here.
Let's ask Jeff. You know what he's not going to miss about New York? The smell when he gets off the plane.
Yo, let me tell you. let me tell you. Living through that recent smoke storm that hit here was insane. It was the pictures and the videos and the news reports y'all were seeing didn't do anything justice. I remember the moment it hit my neighborhood and staring outside like, well, I guess the world's over. We're done. Game over. That thing was it was nuts. But no, I'm looking forward to tailgating with Jimenez. I feel like Jimenez, it's all we ever do when we meet up is just tailgate. Yeah, that's practically what we do. We tailgate.
That is what we do. We drink. Okay,
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
we're gonna make it a point to take Jeff to an SAFC tailgate.
Those are fun.
A lot of fun.
I've been to one.
If you're not drunk before you get to the stadium, you're not having fun.
Let me tell you, I've been to one. An early.
You remember the one?
Wait. Wasn't it called the Scorpions before?
Yeah, it was the Scorpions.
Okay, then I've been to a Scorpions one, not an SAFC one. So those are fun. I had fun.
Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. You had a post on Twitter the other day that I thought was kind of interesting. It was a pop culture post.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about Eddie Murphy, and it basically asked the question, without using the phrase coming to America, what is the greatest piece of work that Eddie Murphy ever did.
All time, Jeff. We're talking all time.
Oh no, I already put mine out there, so there's no surprise here.
Before we get your answer, here are some nominees. Okay, Trading Places, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Harlem Nights, Boomerang, Nutty Professor, Shrek. There was a movie called Life. What was another movie, Joe, you were talking about earlier?
Oh, The Golden Child.
The Golden Child. Okay.
Golden Child, right?
So pick your runner-up. You know what? Pick your runner-up and your silver medalist and your bronze medalist. Because we're all going to say that if you don't say that the gold medalist isn't coming to America, you don't know what you're talking about. That is the greatest Eddie Murphy movie. I will not have any other options.
But we can't say it, though. Like, we can't pick that. We can't pick.
Because that's automatically number one.
That's yeah, exactly. So I guess my silver medalist, I would go with The Golden Child. Why? Because back in the day, that's all local TV played every freaking weekend. Saturday and Sunday, it was on loop like heavy, and you got to watch it. You never got a chance to miss it. It was on. Loved the movie. It was fun. It was like kind of like an action comedy. I guess that's the best way to say it. Fun times. Bronze medalist. Wow. I'm going to go with Beverly Hills Cop.
Nice.
Beverly Hills Cop, yeah. And then for my first place, I'm going to give it a Boomerang. I mean, that movie was just so much fun.
You're going Boomerang number one overall?
Boomerang?
Yep. Boomerang number one.
Okay, so this is that we'll put that as 1A because Coming to America has to be one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going 3, 2, 1, and then 3, 2, 1A. Joe, give me your 3, 2, 1A.
All right. Well, I'm not going to start off with this one, but this is one that we have not mentioned. We have not mentioned Vampire in Brooklyn. That was kind of a groundbreaking film by Eddie Murphy because before the blackening was a thing, right? This was a black horror comedy, way back when in 1995, and nobody really talks about it. But if you've seen it, if you know, you know. But to me, the third best performance by Eddie Murphy, I would have to go ahead and pick Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop 1. That's when we got the iconic laugh from Eddie Murphy, that that he always had. Number 2, coming in at number 2 for me it's going to have to be Coming to America. That's really what everybody remembers him by.
You've already broken the rules of this game.
Yeah, you can't mention Coming to America, Joe.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Then if it's not Coming to America, I'm going to go ahead and go with my second favorite, which is going to be The Golden Child.
Okay,
I'll go with The Golden Child.
By the way, sounds like a Monday movie review for next week.
It is. You got to see it.
It's weird. I've seen a lot of Eddie Murphy movies, but I have never seen.
That's going to freak you out, dude. It's a weird one, but it's a good one. Okay, and for me, number 1 all time, based on the reach that this particular film has, it's gonna have to be Shrek. Him portraying Donkey. I mean, it's just like drop the mic, man.
Yeah, he nailed that role as Donkey. I mean, it was just phenomenal work that he did portraying that character. He did a good job. And but now for me, Boomerang, it was just everything. It was. I think. Help me here, Jimenez. Wasn't it kind of the vanguard of the rom-coms?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it
was like that first initial wave in the 90s.
Yes.
Of rom-com.
And it was a different type of rom-com for so many different reasons. But I love that movie. It's actually one of my favorite movies, Boomerang.
The soundtrack is insane. Yeah. I mean, if you've never, ever looked at the back or just seen the playlist of the soundtrack, oh my, you're missing out.
End of the Road, Boys to Men.
They got PM Dawn on that soundtrack.
PM Dawn was on that. Tony Braxton was on that.
Yeah,
Babyface, I think, was on there.
Babyface was on it. Yeah.
Great.
Babyface and Tony Braxton did a duet for that soundtrack.
Hey, Babyface is still producing, dude. He's still doing his thing.
Yeah. Still doing his thing. Speaking about producing, by the way, man, I've been working out to a bunch of Timbaland these days.
Really?
A Spotify list of Timbaland produced songs, which is more than just him.
You've been listening to some Justin Timberlake.
Well, you would think that it's just Justin Timberlake, but it's also Missy Elliott.
No doubt. It's
a lot of Missy Elliott. It's a lot of great artists.
You can work out. You can work out to like pop music like that. I can't.
If I'm lifting, I slow jam the walks and stuff like that. Real fast. My top 3, by the way. Number 3 is Beverly Hills Cop. Number 2 is Shrek. By the way, trivia question: who was supposed to be Shrek when the movie first came out?
Ooh,
Michael Myers Mike Myers rather is Shrek, but who was supposed to be? Who was supposed to be Shrek?
Oh yeah, I know this. I know this guy from Chris Farley.
Chris Farley, that's right.
Chris Farley,
Chris Farley
yes.
passed away during the production of it all.
Mhm.
Number 1A, so Beverly Hills Cop 3, Shrek 2, and as much as I love Boomerang, that's more of a sentimental. But I'm just talking about like the greatness, iconic role. It's Trading Places.
Yeah.
What a great movie Trading Places is. And the reason why I don't have Boomerang as that is because when I think of Boomerang and I think of the funniest scenes, I don't think of Eddie Murphy. I think of Strange. I think I
the old
think
lady with Eddie Murphy.
Eartha Kitt, doing
Eartha Kitt, thank you.
doing the cat purr. I think of Robin Givens with some of her.
I'm gonna get that soundbite just to let you know for later on.
Yeah, and it was so great. The playing pool with Martin Lawrence.
Yep.
And he's trying to explain why the 8 ball is black. It was so hysterical. And they're looking at him like, what are you talking about? It was such a great movie. And then we got introduced to Halle Berry too.
Right, exactly. That Halle Berry got introduced to the world. I would put that as a movie you don't want to reboot. You leave it alone. You don't touch it.
Exactly.
Don't think about it, because I think there were rumblings of making like rebooting. I know a movie you're not a fan of, but like I know Joe's gonna react to this one. Big Trouble in Little China. There were rumblings.
Man.
I mean, you don't do that. You leave that alone.
No remakes of that. But Jimenez didn't even like that film.
But listen to this. Can you imagine though?
Oh my!
Can you imagine if Eddie Murphy agreed to be part of the Ghostbusters team? He turned it down.
Yeah, that was the original.
Yeah, and he was the original pick. But I mean, he would have had an incredible streak in the 80s into the 90s.
And he would have
the Trading Places. He had a good streak already of movies to begin with. But
he would have given Bill Murray a run for his money, Jeff. Like, who was going to be the guy that's going to take that stage as the most iconic comedian?
He probably would have stolen the movie. No, knowing him, he would have stolen the movie big time.
That is Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Tell us how. Wait a minute, you have Joe on your show coming up, right?
It's today.
It's out right now. It's out right now. Yeah,
it's out right now. What are you guys
Joe's
talking about on the show?
We're talking
Wemby?
about, ironically, Wemby and reasonable stat projections for him. And here's a question for you, Jimenez. We know the load management is going to come for Wemby, but why don't they just front load the load management? So we talk about that. We talk about that on this episode of Locked On Spurs, which is out right now. I guess I could say this. I guess you already mentioned about the fantasy gods coming back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good then. So the fantasy god himself, Brandon Medina, will be on later this week. He is joining Jimenez on the Acquired Taste show, mix there. So Medina will be coming back this week. He's going to talk about what to look forward to on his new rebooted show, the Fantasy Gods. And yes, he's going to give out numbers and Vegas projections. Joe, every time Medina is on, he says, why do you always bring on the degenerate when it's talking about gambling? And it's always him. So it kind of lines up with, other guests that come on, like Rudy Campos. He always says, why do you always have me on when it's Trey Jones talk and I don't like Duke? So same thing with Brandon Medina. Why are you going to bring me on? We're going to talk Vegas projections and my degeneracy. So it's coming up this week. So look forward to that.
Always having action. Whenever I go have lunch with him or go get a drink, and it's never like, I'm watching football, right? And it'd be like, is it Alabama taking on Auburn? No. He's betting on that game on the far corner, Colorado State against Utah State, because like the number 3 receiver is down. Yeah, I love me some Brandon Medina, but man, he is a thoughtful degenerate. He's a responsible degenerate.
He's responsible.
Yes. So he doesn't bet more than he should.
So he'll definitely be talking about what the new look of the Fantasy Gods is going to be like. Is going to be the same old, or does he have some surprises in the rebooted, Fantasy Gods coming up on Locked On Spurs later this week? And of course, shocker, Jimenez and Joe, more Wembyama talk. I mean, I can't escape this. You got to talk about him. I mean, I mean, what's the countdown? 8 days until he's officially.
It's next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
So we're about 9 days away.
You going to the summer league, Jeff?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I know as of right now, I should be there in Barclays next week.
I'm thinking about going myself, but I don't know if we can hang out together because we might go out for a little bit of libations.
Well, here's the thing. Why would why even spend all that money in hotels and plane if he may not even play?
No, that's true too.
I mean, unless you want to see, Blake Wesley and Malachi or whoever else they pick in the last 2 picks in the second round. But I mean, that's why I'm a little hesitant about going, because it's going to be worth it if he just plays a half a quarter or a half a game and that's it. They lock him.
I think they're going to give him some run. I think he'll at least play maybe 1 or 2 games, but I think they're going to kind of be liberal with the minutes that he's going to be playing out there on the court.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Jeff
But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week.
Thanks for being with us, my man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Locked On Spurs. I follow Locked On Spotify. It reminds me every day that there's a Locked On to listen to. Speaking of Spotify, this show will be on Spotify as well. Our first show was uploaded last night. We'll get this going after the show ends. So that's it's good times, and I'm excited about the technology that we have here. So much so. Some quick updates. San Antonio Missions open up a big series today in Amarillo. It's a big series because the Missions are in first place at 31-26 in the South Division. They have a 2-game lead over Amarillo. So they're playing each other there. They do well. They can open up that lead.
Yeah.
They do poorly. They might lose that lead. Missions back in town next Tuesday. San Antonio FC is back at it tomorrow night. Not here. It's going to be on the road against San Diego Loyal FC. The champs will be back at Toyota Field until July 1st, which is I'm apparently going to have a big celebration out there over at Toyota Field. So I'm excited about that.
Maybe they'll go ahead and have dollar beer night that night.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Hey, before we go, want to get a little serious here for a moment. Just want to have, for those of you who are into prayer, those of you who are into well wishes, for those of you who are just good people who just want to send warm thoughts and regards, read a post on Facebook yesterday about news anchor Sarah Fergani from Kent's 5. Sarah Fergani, for those of you who don't know, is in the hospital right now. She was on a ventilator, and according to her coworker, Deborah Knapp, the ventilator was pulled off and that she's breathing on her own and that she's in ICU in stable condition. Apparently, this all started a while back. She was in vacation in Italy when something happened, and there was complications from some sort of surgery, and she had to come back to the United States. She went home, then went back into the hospital, has been there for the past 8 or 9 days. Sarah Fergani is a former coworker of mine. I met Sarah 15, 20 years ago, whenever she first started over here. She's been doing the morning show at Ken's forever.
Yeah.
She's very, very popular. And I met her when she was very, very young, new to San Antonio. I met her at a karaoke bar.
Oh, wow.
A bunch of media types got together, and she was part of that group. Years later, I started working with her over at Ken's 5. I didn't work the morning side very often, but when I did, she was super nice. But beyond that, twice she has come to my rescue to help out with an event that I've been doing. One was at my kid's school. I asked if she could make an appearance. Didn't think that she would. I forgot to even remind her, and she showed up, and it was great. Years later, I had a coworker who had an event at his kid's school, very small Catholic school here in San Antonio, and they needed an MC for a charity fundraiser. And I was like, you know what? I'll give Sarah a call. I mean, she does a great job with that. No promises. And even though it was short notice, Sarah was like, I'll be there. She's a very hardworking person, a very nice person. Beyond that, the last time I saw her was I bumped into her walking out of the Tech Port at the Boys to Men concert. She was there with her husband, recently had a child, I believe. So just thoughts, prayers, well wishes, anything that you want to send their way, positive vibes. I don't care. You don't have to be religious or not religious. Doesn't matter to me. Just think about them and hope for the best when it comes to them. Again, in ICU right now, considered to be in stable condition. But when I saw that, and I've been reading up on it, it should be private. We shouldn't know all the details as to what's going on. But we hope that she progresses and recovers. And if this takes a while, she has a lot of friends and supporters out there who will stand by her side. And the people at Ken's Five are very good people.
Oh yeah.
And I know a lot of them. I worked most recently with Joe Reinagel. I've known him for a long time. But the people over there, Deborah Knapp is amazing. I've produced for her in the past. Phil and Naya over there. These are all really, really good people. So I just wanted to say that Sarah Fragani is in my thoughts right now. And she's somebody that I'm hoping for pulls through with this, because I hope that good things happen to good people. She is good people.
Yeah, wishing her a speedy recovery.
But man, episode 2.
It's in the books.
It's in the books. We're figuring this out. We're going to have several other guests over the course of time. So if you're out there and wondering, well, who the next person's going to be, typically about 24 hours before, I'll post something to say, hey, look, by the way, on Wednesday, this is who we're going to have. On Thursday, this is who we're going to have. I've been in talks with a lot of people right now about it, and they've been pumped up about it. But I want to give them a reason to be on. Like, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at doing some features. Some people that you've never met before who are ballers in the city of San Antonio, who are very good at what they do, and maybe give us tips on how to make money, how to be better in our relationships, how to get a relationship if that's even wanted. So lots to get into. We're in the infancy stage right now. For those of you who are watching right now, don't forget to hit like. That means a lot. Hit a like, give us a thumbs up, send us a comment. Speaking of which, do we have any comments today?
We've gotten a whole bunch of stuff popping through up here on Facebook. It's been popping.
All right. Do you have any that you could read off?
We're talking about the Eddie Murphy segment. We had one guy, Anthony Pittman here, good friend of the show.
Pit boss.
He had put Harlem Nights was darn good. Somebody else was calling you out when you were saying that was not a catch by Dez. Another fellow Cowboy fan came to my rescue, said that was a catch. Shout out to you, Manuel Gonzalez. People were just talking about, the DraftKings has the Spurs at plus 650.
Yeah, Richard
to win
that
40 plus games this season.
Okay, so Brandon Medina is somebody who likes to bet. I know my boy Richard likes to bet too. Plus 650 DraftKings on the Spurs winning 40 plus games. What plus 650 means is that if you bet $100 that the Spurs are going to win 41 or more, be 500 or better, you would get your 100 back plus $650 on top.
Yep.
That is a nice betting line right there.
That is.
Plus 650. Richard Zamora, thank you so much. Lots of people reaching out saying Bowfinger. Frank Valdez reached out and says Bowfinger, very underrated. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I did see that.
Yeah.
Manuel Gonzalez, it was a damn catch, talking about Dez Bryant. Okay, first of all, it was a catch. It also wasn't a catch. It was both. And I understand the letter of the law when it comes to it, but common sense says that it was a catch. But the weird thing about it is that if you take the blue goggles off, okay, because most people who are adamant that it was a catch are Cowboy fans, right? If you take the blue goggles off and put a fictional player up there with the acrobats that were being done, I can see how it wasn't a catch. Because what is a catch is possession, it's full possession with either an elbow down or both feet down, whatever, right? But he was switching hands along the way. So I remember Zapruder film style, like JFK getting shot, going frame by frame with somebody. Cowboy fan one time, and I was like, tell me when he has legal possession. When does he have legal possession? And I'm going throughout the play, and it like dawned on this person, like, oh my God, he never did. He had possession in the sense that he had 4 quarters in his pocket, but you need a full dollar. And even though 4 quarters equals $1, it wasn't the same. Dez Bryant, though, in my eyes, what I wish the refs had called was that it was a catch. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a Cowboy fan. I wish they would have called it a catch, because in the nature of the game, in the spirit of the game, the spirit of the rule, just like the Jimmy Butler thing yesterday, spirit of the rule says that that's a no call or a charge, not a defensive call.
This gives me a great idea for a segment coming up as we get closer here to the NFL season. Worst calls in NFL history. We should talk about that.
Yeah, very, very much so. Very much so. But Dez Bryant, spirit of the rule,
yeah,
he caught it. He did. but the way that the officials interpret what a catch is, he didn't. And it's just, it's the acrobatics of getting up there, switching hands, going down on one leg. And it was just so, it's one of the greatest plays of all time to discuss. But in San Antonio primarily Cowboy country, they're not going to say that that's the case. They're going to be like, no, it was just a catch. It was a catch is a catch is a catch is a catch. But man, my goodness, this has been a spectacular second attempt over here. Again, we're on Twitter. We're live
and
on
Facebook.
Starting tomorrow. Fingers crossed. We're going to be on YouTube Live, and fingers crossed, I'll be back at 100% voice-wise. This has been fun. I'm Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is Mike Jimenez, The Acquired Taste. See you guys tomorrow.
Peace.